97.9, 105.5 KISS FM. It's Big Poppa in the morning. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Lennon's Jewelers Hotline, coming to the Turning Stone showroom, February 7th and 8th, Mr. Aaron Lewis. Aaron, good morning, man. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Where am I catching you this morning?
I am in Ohio, driving from where I was goose hunting this morning to where I have a show this evening.
That's what's up. It seems like, number one, it seems like the Turning Stone is almost like a second home for you. So the transition from Stained to the solo country stuff, it seems like we've been able to kind of watch your progression as you go from one to the other. The Turning Stone really is someplace special for you, huh?
Well, I mean, the Turning Stone was the second or third casino I ever played, like, I don't know, 13 years ago, something like that, 14 years ago, and I've played it every year since. And yeah, you know, the sentiments that you're saying as far as the Turning Stone being able to basically watch the transition, absolutely, there's been a representation of it every year.
Absolutely. And 2 shows at the showroom, Friday, February 7th, Saturday, February 8th. Details, turningstone.com and 361-SHOW. That's 361 SHOW. The transition from the band to the solo stuff, is it more nerve-wracking because, you know, it's you by yourself, or was it more nerve-wracking because it was a different genre? Because obviously there had to have been some nerves, you know, doing the transition and trying something completely different.
You know, there was a little bit of thought process put into it, more so as to what direction I was going to go in. I don't know if it was nerves more than it was excitement to stand on my own 2 feet.
Sure.
And you know, not have to share creative control with anybody and to really put out a product that was mine from beginning to end.
Absolutely. Aaron Lewis on the Lennon's Jewelers Hotline. You can follow him on Twitter at Aaron Lewis Music. Like with me, and I would imagine most people, music taste, it varies on what your mood is. You know,
sure.
there are some days where, you know, I'm all about hip hop. There are other days where I'm all about rock. There are other days where I'm all about like singer-songwriter stuff, or I'm about country, and you know, so you know, being the fact that, you know, you seem to come off that way as well, and trying to pick where, you know, what direction you want to go into and where the best fit for you is. That's why, like, the Turning Stone was so cool, because you kind of got to, you know, it's almost like a comedian checking out different jokes and whatnot to see what fits best, right?
I mean, yeah, that was part of it. I went back to my roots. I went back to the music that was the first music that I ever heard in my life. You know, at the time, I was forcibly tortured by my grandfather to listen to his country music.
Right. And,
you know, little did I realize at that age, you know, how big of a place it would hold in my heart later on in life.
Absolutely. And when you're a kid, you know, the eldest male, you don't mess with the eldest male. You know what I'm saying? You know, if
there was no arguing with him as to what radio station was going to be on.
Absolutely. So I mean, you got the country music, and when I was an impressionable child, my babysitter's husband had control of the TV remote, and you know, I am now the biggest fan of Judge Wapner, like you would never believe.
What's up, Rain Man?
Aaron Lewis coming to the Turning Stone showroom Friday, February 7th, Saturday, February 8th. And, of course, you can download The Road, whether it be on iTunes or any of the different formats. The fact you've been able to, you know, transition, you said you've been doing the Turning Stone for 13, 14 years now, and been doing this for so long. The industry really has changed.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. The landscape has completely changed right out from underneath my feet.
And when you start in it, like let's put it bluntly. When you start out, your goal is to, get signed. Then your goal is to get on the radio. Then your goal is to tour. And then from there to win awards and, headline tours and, make the next album and da-da-da-da-da. And as you're going, you're learning the rules because it's not like there's a class on, okay, here's how you deal with the music industry. And it seems like...
No, and there's no... It's not like you're born into royalty where you are, molded and created into exactly what you're supposed to be going into it, and yeah, absolutely.
And then things are changing. So it seems like just as you're starting to learn the rules and learn the best way to, I don't want to say manipulate, but the best way to, deal with the shark infested waters. It's then the rules gradually change.
Yeah, it's a constant morphing. You're constantly having to figure out the new best way to reach people, and especially with the internet now, and the internet and downloading. I guess the internet was there, but downloading music really wasn't an issue at the beginning of our career.
Right, because it was the album. When you went out, you went and got the album, and that's it. And now it's a world where, oh, hey, I like the song, and you get the song. So a lot of times the full quote unquote body of work doesn't fully get listened to.
Right. And that was always an issue for us because we were never a band that filled records with filler.
Right.
If the song wasn't good enough to, if it wasn't good enough, it didn't get on the record. If it couldn't have been used as a single, it didn't make the record. And it kind of, it destroyed that. It made it so that, now when I go in to, now it's a whole different mentality going in and making a record. It's what songs are going to get played on the radio, and then let's not waste any more good ones because they're not going to get played on the radio anyways.
Aaron Lewis, The Road is available for download now. Download the whole album, for crying out loud. Download the whole thing. It's coming to the Turning Stone Friday, February 7th, Saturday, February 8th, turningstone.com for all the details. The fact that you've been around so much and you've met so many people, who's your favorite person to jam with? Like, you'll end up like in the same city as so-and-so and you make it a point to hit there. It's just cool to kind of jam out on stage and go to town with them.
I'm not that guy.
Really?
I've gotten up and sang with people before, but I got to tell you, it's the most uncomfortable experience for me ever.
Tell me why.
Well, because if I screw up, I'm screwing up during their set. I've messed up their piece of music. I've screwed up their lyrics. I don't care if I mess up my own song. I wrote it.
Okay, so let me turn the question around then. Is there someone that, you really enjoy bringing up to do that with you then? Or do you not like doing that because you have the anxiety on the back end? Or
it all comes back to the anxiety on the back end, to be quite honest with you.
That's a fair assessment. I appreciate that. It's Aaron Lewis. Follow him on Twitter at Aaron Lewis Music. And of course, coming to the Turning Stone, turningstone.com for all the details. And make sure you download The Road as well. Before you go, and again, I appreciate the time this morning. This is the Quick Six. It's 6 questions, 60 seconds, and it lets everyone get to know a little bit more about you. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. 2 shows on your DVR right now.
Breaking Bad and Saturday Night Live.
Favorite toy as a child?
My bow.
You're on the road a ton. You stop at the convenience store. What are your go-to snacks?
Yeah, I try. Lately, I try not to. I've been actually juicing.
Oh, nice.
And almost being on a completely juiced diet. And so almonds or some sort of seed of some sort.
You ever thought you'd be stopping at the convenience store and getting nuts and seeds?
No. I'm 40. I'm almost 42 years old, and I can't eat like an 18-year-old anymore.
They call me Big Poppa for a reason, bro. I completely understand. You're at the bar. What's your drink of choice?
Jack and Ginger or Washington Apple.
You know that if you had said juice, I was going to hang up on you, right? Favorite body part of the opposite sex?
Starts with a V and ends with an A.
There it is. And finally, what's your favorite toy as an adult?
My bow.
There it is. Aaron Lewis. Follow him on Twitter at Aaron Lewis Music, and Turning Stone Showroom Friday, February 7th, Saturday, February 8th, turningstone.com for details, and download The Road now. Aaron, I got to tell you, it was funny. I was having a conversation with somebody earlier this week about interviews that we've done and this, that, and the other. And everybody who has ever encountered you has had nothing but amazing, amazing things to say about you. You're one, from what I've heard before this interview, and the interview absolutely solidified it. You're one of the good dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, thank you, man. I'm an incredible liar.
Apparently so is everybody else. So you're. Yeah, Oscar Award winner Aaron Lewis on the Lennox Jewelers Hotline. Bro, travel safe. I appreciate it. We'll see you at the Turning Stone coming up, all right?
Look forward to it, brother.
Absolutely. Aaron Lewis, everybody. We're going to break, come back. Big Pop in the morning. Kiss FM.